Hey guys, what's up? I'm Noah, this is Analog Resurgence, and today I'm doing a roll review of Lomography's 400 ISO color negative film. Lomography. Whew. Lomography is a company that you either are really into or you're really not. Or maybe kind of, or in like a little bit, sometimes and sometimes not. Okay, it's like, okay, Lomography is like everything else where everybody has a bunch of different opinions about everything for it. For anybody who's not super familiar, Lomography is a film company that does all sorts of things. They put out different types of film, both color and black and white. They also do cameras and lenses and accessories and Kickstarters. Some of their stuff is stuff that I'm not a huge fan of, but also, Lomography has some decent stuff. Previously, I looked at just their regular color negative film for 800 ISO, and I thought that was a really super solid option for shooting because it's not a super expensive film if you can get your hands on it, but it is also on the level of like consumer grade, like cheaper films that have a high saturation, like a really normal amount of grain, aren't anything like super crazy like Portra or Ektar, but offer like a good variety of different things to shoot. Consumer films also have a bit of a gap in terms of 800 ISO options because there's like Superior and Gold and Ultramax and Pro Image and Color Plus, and those are all like 100 and 200 and 400 ISO films. But Lomography makes 800 ISO. Today I'm taking a look at Lomography 400. It is just their regular color negative 400 ISO stuff. I shot a roll of it in 35mm. I didn't have a chance to pick this stuff up in 120 this time around, but we're gonna take a look at it in just 35 today. Lomography also does a lot of film rebranding. So a lot of the stuff that they sell is actually sourced from like a different film manufacturer that then they buy in bulk and then they put it into their own branding and their own packaging. Things like Berlin 400, which is actually a 400 ISO black and white cinema film made by the German manufacturer Orwo. So let's take a look at the 400 ISO stuff that they offer, and of course everything will be over on the Patreon as well if you're looking for just like the full range of scans and everything. You can find that over there. If you're interested, there is information in the description below. So this stuff is not bad. Like, it is very much consumer film. Lomography 400 is not Portra 400 rebranded. It is a consumer film. We can tell that based on the general amount of saturation and the grain and the contrast and everything to it. It's kind of already got like a hard look to it that is just like ready to go right after you get it scanned and everything. Also, hey, I've already looked at all the general consumer stuff before. So Pro Image, Gold, Ultramax, Color Plus, Fuji, Superior 400. Lomo 400 also has the price and characteristics of consumer film. And all of this stuff with the price point and the look of it do separate it from like the professional end of things from Kodak and Fuji. But it's still a solid enough choice for throwing into your camera to just take some casual shots. It's just a really standard 400 ISO color negative film. And I would say don't be put off by the fact that it's Lomography because it's not one of their crazier or experimental film stocks. And in fact, I would maybe make the guess that, again, Lomo 400 is probably some form of like a rebranded Kodak film stock, maybe. Like, it doesn't seem to be like super expired or anything, and they sell it consistently enough that they probably get it in a big supply from another manufacturer. It does have strong Kodak Ultramax vibes, and in general fits in well when compared with like Gold and Color Plus. I wouldn't necessarily say it's just rebranded Ultramax because it is still like a little bit different, I guess, but it's definitely more on the Kodak side of things instead of like claiming it's Fuji Superior rebranded. Superior has a very different look in terms of like the greens and the magentas to the image. And it's very much in line with the Lomography 800 ISO stuff that they offer as well. Lomo 800 has like the same kind of contrast and saturation and everything to it. So Lomo 400 is perfectly fine as a consumer level color film for like point and shoot cameras and just like everyday shooting, and it can be cheap as well. But because it is Lomography stuff, you might end up paying a bit of a premium on it. It's also maybe not going to be as readily available as something like Superior 400 or Ultramax. It's got a contrast that is more in line with Ultramax and like gold, as opposed to like Pro Image, which I thought was like more of like a bridge between like the consumer and the pro films. Like I really liked Pro Image because it does have a less intense look to it, I guess, but Lomo 400 really just kind of meshes well in like the lineup of consumer stuff. So here in Canada, Canadian dollar, not American dollar, Canadian dollar, I pay about $11.75 on a roll of Lomo 400, which is about $1 more than Kodak's Ultramax 400. But Ultramax 400 is more likely to be sold out lately, so Lomo 400 is good as a consumer film, but it is not so good or so specialized that I would say that you should really go crazy trying to get your hands on some. Like Lomo 800 is more worth like seeking out because there's not like a consumer level 800 ISO film, especially in medium format. I would say that Lomo 400 and 800 are great to have as an option in medium format, but like less noteworthy in 35. Because again, consumer grade films don't really exist for like medium format, but they do from Lomography. Whereas consumer grade stuff exists in 35 from other people as well as Lomography. Don't go crazy trying to get your hands on it, but if it's your only option, or if it's just readily available or cheaper or whatever, then Lomo 400 is a perfectly good film that is really, really like holds its own up against all the other consumer stuff. Also for me, Ultramax 400 keeps being sold out, which is probably a good thing. Things are sold out, which means people are buying them, but also I just needed like a 3-pack of Ultramax. Anyways, Lomography 400 was there to fill the void of Ultramax not being there, so in the end, it is good to have another option. Thank you so much for watching and checking this out, and if you have experience or just like things to say about the Lomography, like the color negative stuff in general, like the 400, then you can let me know in the description down below. And of course, everything over on the Patreon, I will also throw in links for buying some of the 400 stuff if you're looking for some links to get your hands on some of this stuff. Of course, Lomography also has it on their website. At the time I'm recording this video, it is in stock, but sometimes it comes and goes. So there is also the P.O. Box information for the channel, also information for Pro 8mm. If you're looking for Super 8 and 16mm motion picture services and stuff like that, you can check that out as well. So thank you all for watching, and of course, I'll see you soon.